What's up with you beautiful people? Welcome back to another video with your boy. So check this out. So I originally did this video, by the way, you remember I think the video before last, 2 videos ago, I told you I was going to go get my new tattoo. By the way, I did go get that, as you probably can see. Yeah, look how beautiful that thing is. That says time, I'm gonna look it up, let y'all look at it a little bit better. That says time heals all wounds. That's pretty much what this video is detailing. You know, you see you got the eye with the clock, with the Roman numerals in there. You got time heals all wounds, and you got prayer. So with prayer, time will eventually heal all wounds. But back to what I was saying though. So I originally filmed this video the day I got that tattoo, which was Monday. Today's Thursday, and I filmed it from my camera. For whatever reason, my camera is not allowing me to export the video from my camera to my phone. So I was like, man, you know what? I'm just gonna refilm it, and I'm just gonna film it straight off of here. But you know, we're gonna talk on time heals all wounds, right? So as you guys know, which I've said several times, that I just got out of a relationship. Might have been about a month and a half ago now. You know, it's probably been about a month total. It's probably been a little bit over a month, I think. I believe probably about a month and a half. So I remember going through the breakup, right? I remember going through the process. I remember, you know, the tears, crying tears every day, the day we broke up, the day after that, the day after that. And I just remember being in a clouded mind frame to not being able to really think of anything else but that. Like when I was going through my breakup, man, I wasn't posting on my YouTube channels no more. I really wasn't doing too much of nothing, man, besides kind of sitting in, other than going to work. But, you know, even at work, it was just like, you know, you got to go to work and you know what you're dealing with in terms of a breakup, and you're still trying to process things and you haven't fully processed it. Now you go to work and you might have to deal with, you know, rude associates or, you know, possibly rude co-workers, you know what I mean? And you got to try to, you know, mask the pain and and keep it professional, you know what I mean? So I remember the day after me and her broke up, we broke up on a Saturday. So the Sunday I had to go to work the next day, right? So I get up, go to work, you know, and I'm just like, man, how am I gonna get through this day? You know, I get to work, we end up being short staffed that day. So I end up having to run self checkout. So I ran self checkout for about 2 hours. And after that, man, I went to go, I told my manager, I was like, hey man, I need to go sit out. I gotta go sit outside of my car for real fast for like 15 minutes, you know, personal reasons. And she was like, okay, cool. So I went out there to my car and I started crying again. You know what I mean? Like I started shedding tears again, man. So it was rough. I cried on my lunch break too. But yeah, it was rough, man. And I remember sitting in that car and I was thinking to myself, like, man, I cannot wait till I get past this feeling of hurt. You know what I mean? I can't wait till I get past this feeling of, okay, of just tears, man, and sorrow and feeling, you know, just feeling vulnerable, you know, extra vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like I was like, man, I finally allowed myself to, you know, to care and put myself out there, and look at what happened in return. Me end up a failed relationship. Now I'm having to stay and deal with picking up the pieces. So I remember when I originally went through my breakup, I called a couple people, you know. I called my mom, I called my papa, I called my buddy Dijon, and I called my cousin Malik. So, you know, Dijon and Malik, they've been through more breakups than me. You know, like I said, this was my first adult relationship. By the way, I'm 27, you know, yeah, it is. This is my first adult relationship. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, like, how do I get through it? So I called both of them up. And both of them, not just them two, but everybody that I spoke with, 'cause I spoke with a lot of people. I spoke with people at my job. I spoke with people that like I actually have direct contact with too, in terms of family, friends, etc. But I talked to people at my job as well as coworkers, you know what I mean? I was just kind of not coworkers, but you know, like, well, coworkers, yeah, but also customers coming in, you know, make small conversation, and you know, I just be like, well, you know, I'm going through this and that. They're like, oh man, I hate to hear that, but it'll get better. So everybody, for the most part, said the same thing. They just didn't say it specifically and intentionally. And it's time heals all wounds. So I went to one guy, well, 2 guys. And one of them was just saying that him and his wife, they was together for a certain amount of years. And, you know, I guess they just wasn't compatible no more. They just felt that this wasn't best for neither one of us. So they moved on. And, you know, but they had been together for years. Me and my girlfriend hadn't been together for no years. It was just months. So, you know, I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, yeah, so eventually I will be able to get over it. And to touch on that, you know, so if you're watching this video and you're going through a breakup right now, man, I can really speak from personal experience now, because at first I couldn't speak because I hadn't went through it. But now since I've went through it and I've overcame it for the most part, you know, I really do realize that only time can heal. Because regardless if you're going through a breakup, right? Let's just say if the relationship to a certain degree was toxic. And I would assume that it probably wasn't always like that. And I would assume that y'all bonded other ways than just the toxic shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, even if y'all was on, outer terms in terms of y'all really not being there, invested in it, at that point, you still at some point had feelings for this person. And and if you like me, or if you actually cared about somebody, them feelings don't just go away overnight. Like you can't just wake up and just say, okay, yeah, we broke up. Now her or him, they're out of my sight, they're in my peripheral vision. Now I'm moving forward. And even if you do have that mentality, it's gonna be things that happen. You might be scrolling through your phone and see some pictures of her. You might hear a song that y'all like. You might see a movie that's coming on. You know what I mean? Or you might want to go watch a movie. So it's always gonna be attachments that you have to that person. So it's not gonna come overnight. It's gonna come, but eventually it's gonna come over time. You know what I mean? So like I said, that's why it was so important for me to get this tattoo. I was talking with a lady that I work with. She went through a pretty traumatic event. I'm not gonna really just speak on it too much, but if you're watching my channel and you're familiar with you know who I'm talking about. But and kudos to this woman, man, because she's a strong woman, being a single mom and having to take care of 3 kids, and trying to basically saying I don't have the answers, I'm just figuring out as I go. So and I look at what she went through, right? And I said to myself that, okay, if this woman can go through what she went through, and I'm looking at her, I can get through what I went through. Same thing with my grandmother. I look at my grandmother having to go through what she went through, having a stroke and trying to regain feeling from on half of her body, on top of having to already have surgery today for I forgot what it is, but it's just constant obstacle after obstacle, and my obstacles are nowhere near neither one of these ladies. So it's like, okay, sometimes you have to be willing to put aside your hurt, because you do have the right to be hurt. You do have the right to be frustrated. You do have the right to be upset. You have the right to be et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But sometimes you got to be like, man, you know what? I do got this right, but let me just push it to the side and let me just see what I can gain from this. But let me also just move forward. So, long story short, just to kind of, not to be long-winded, because I just kind of want to briefly touch on this. Like I say, time heals all wounds. So it's no time frame on when you're going to get over a person, you know what I mean? Or there's no time frame when you're going to be able to get over something, period. Some things you might can get over in a week. Some things you might can get over in a month. Some things you might can get over in months. Some things you might can get over in a year. Some things you might can get over in 2 years, et cetera, et cetera. But it's not going to happen overnight. And then you have to understand too that even when you think you're completely over it, you're never over it as much as you think, because all it takes is that one song, that one food, that one environment, and everything is right back to where it was at. Like I said, I like using my relationship because this is close to me to explain what I'm trying to explain to you guys. So prime example, right? Like I said, I don't want to make this video too long, and I think I'll probably end it after this story. But prime example, right? This was Mother's Day. So keep in mind, I hadn't been over to my mom and my stepdad's house since Mother's Day. The last time was before Mother's Day. I hadn't been over there since me and my ex was together. So one day, my stepdad called me. He's like, hey man, what y'all doing, such and such? I was like, nothing much. He's like, well, we gonna throw some steak and potatoes on the grill. Y'all can come over and, come eat. And, that was my first time going to be introducing her to my stepdad. She had already met my mom. So, we go over there, we have a good time. We sitting outside, we eat, we talking, we just, conversing, and, eventually we ended up going home because I wanted to spend more time with her. And, my mom called me the next day and was asking me, like, how did she like it? I was like, yeah, she liked it, she enjoyed it. And my stepdad's like, man, I'm happy for you, kid. I can tell that she makes you happy. And, fast forward a couple months later, we broken up. So the next time I come over there for Mother's Day, I'm still, at that point, it still was more fresh than what it is now. So we go over there for Mother's Day. So guess what? I go over there and they cooking on Mother's Day. Steak and potatoes. Yes, if you answered that. Steak and potatoes, man. So it just evoked all emotions again, man. Like, you just don't understand. Like, it almost brought tears to my eyes, damn near, man. Because it's just like, I'm thinking about her. You know what I mean? So, long story short, basically, I'm just telling you guys that it doesn't just go away. I had a situation the other day at work where, you know, I was kind of getting frustrated with things and she started popping up in my mind. You know what I mean? So it doesn't go away completely, but you will eventually move on past it. You have no other choice but to. You know what I mean? Once you're on the ground, once you're on your back, you have no other choice but to get up, because you can't go farther down, because you're at your lowest. You see what I'm saying? You're at your lowest. So you have no choice but to move up, regardless if you're intending to or not. But just giving some type of effort, you will gradually start to come up and come up and come up. Now, depending on how much effort you're giving, depends on how fast you're gonna come up. So if you're giving a bare minimum effort, you're gonna recover bare minimum. But if you're giving an extraordinary effort, then you're gonna recover extraordinarily. So, and something I want to tell you guys too is, don't run from the pain. And listen to me closely when I tell y'all this. Don't run from the pain. Don't max the pain in sex. Don't max the pain in drugs. Don't max the pain and go from one relationship and go to another. Like, don't run from the pain. Accept the pain and deal with the pain. Because all you're doing all those things I just said, you're just putting a Band-Aid on it. That's all you're doing. You're not repairing it. It ain't stitched up. You're just putting a Band-Aid on it. And eventually, once that Band-Aid come off, it's re-exposed. Now, it's that situation is reopened. But if you dealt with the situation completely, you don't ever have to worry about it being reopened to that magnitude. Like I said, you're going to have thoughts that's going to come back to where you're going to think about that person, obviously, but you've processed it, you've dealt with it, you've made peace with it. So when you've made peace with something, it's a lot easier to move forward or move past it once you've made peace with it. You know what I mean? So once again, please, whatever you're going through, you know, if you're, like I say, man, this can relate to you, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're going through losing a person that you care about a lot, whether you're a kid and you failed a test, whether you're a football player in high school or college and you didn't make the team, or you're not starting, or, you know, sports period. If you feel like I didn't do a great job early on in life as a father or a mother, if you feel like I can be better as just a man of the household, you know, regardless, you know what I mean? Just deal with the problem, accept the problems, accept what you've done, make peace with it, and move forward. That's all you can do at that point. But don't run away from it. Don't hide from it. Don't try to avoid it, because like I said, all you're doing is putting a Band-Aid on. But that is it for this video, man. If you guys did enjoy this video, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're enjoying the content, man, subscribe. And I will say this too. If you're enjoying the videos, smash that thumbs up button. If you're enjoying the videos, the conversations that we're having, go ahead and subscribe. You know what I mean? If you're not, you don't have to subscribe. You actually can dislike, or you can go in the comments and say, hey man, you don't know what you're talking about. I think you're a piece of baloney. Whatever the case may be. You know, I like the attention. Like they say, all publicity, there's no such thing as bad publicity. All publicity is good publicity. So if you're here watching me and you like me, cool. If you're here watching me and you hate me, cool too, you know. But if you do like what I'm doing, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out this thing. Peace.